Welcome everybody. My name is Jurand, and today with me is Anthony. And this is a first and hopefully not the last one video or live, whoever knows, where we're gonna work over the 3D graphics and talk about the stuff that are interesting for us, so mostly 3D related, but to the art industry and everything. So we're gonna see how it goes. So Anthony provided me a really nice, actually I'm gonna show you his screen because he's showing his screen right now. He provided me a really nice model of that wall. He make a photogrammetry model with the reality capture, and the goal for today's video is to make a seamless material from it, and that's gonna be our main focus point for our video. Of course, we're gonna talk about different stuff. For example, I was fighting with a cow today, but I'm gonna talk about that later. So yeah, Anthony make a photogrammetry model and send it to me. I never opened it yet, so except the viewing his screen, I have no idea what to expect. So let's get started. I need to.
It's gonna be pretty raw, so.
So first of all, I need to share my screen, right? Because.
Yep.
Okay,
Where is this? Stop sharing mine.
Yes, and start a video. No. The annoying thing with the zoom is that panel on the top disappear.
Oh yeah, I hate Zoom, but
Yeah.
it works.
Okay, so how to share my screen with you? Because there was a panel above, and right now it's not visible.
If it's like a smaller window, you just have to expand that, and then it'll.
Okay, I see. There it is.
There we go.
Great.
Ooh, a fire hose.
Yes, that's a project for our client, so I need to close it. And open the ZBrush once again. So yeah, first thing is I supposed to ask, Anthony, you knew about the photogrammetry, but how much you knew? Because to be honest, I was surprised and I forgot about that. I'm not the only one who is doing a photogrammetry. So.
I'm still pretty new at it. I've only been messing around with it last couple years, maybe 4-ish years, but I've never really took the time to like clean up or post-process anything or create a material out of some of the stuff that I've done. Like when I went to where I took this at the wall, I went in with the intention of like trying to create materials, and then other projects happened, and then work and stuff like that, and then it's just I never went back to it. So
I see. So you never make a attempt of creating a seamless material from the scan?
No, I've always wanted to, but I just never had the chance to.
Okay, that's even better. Maybe you're gonna learn something, or I'm gonna humiliate myself. Okay, so first of all, when I import stuff is I have prepared a special starting setup in ZBrush that is pre-populated with the different models of the same head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very useful because, as you can see on my right panel, each one of those have a separate naming, and as you can see, a head looks in different ways depending on the software. And sometimes it's even upside down. So when I have a scan and I knew that I want to go with it to Unreal Engine, for example, I just open that head, make it visible, and go to my scan, and turn off this single mode, and all of those heads not supposed to be turned on, so like this. And now I knew that front is up here, that way. So I knew that I can rotate that scan, and when I import it to Unreal Engine, I knew it's gonna be correct faced. And I see your scale is as well set up in the units that are not Blender units, I believe.
No.
How big the wall was actually?
That wall was probably about 10 feet because I used my cell phone to capture it. So
Hmm.
from the ground and then my arms length, that's about 10 feet
Okay, I need to make a
tall.
conversion.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how big the feet is. Unit converter. Okay, length. So you said 6. Where is the feet?
Oh, about 10 feet. So foot right there, English foot, FT. There you go.
Okay, so let's see how it
Yeah.
is in the centimeters. 3 meters. Okay, that's quite a lot. So that's the first thing when I import to the ZBrush with that repopulated scene. The scale is always the same. Are you working a lot with the ZBrush or not?
I do use ZBrush a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so you are probably aware that when you import something to ZBrush, it always tries to scale everything to the optimal 2 units that are
Yeah.
that work great with the all the tools that are size dependent. And when you're working single with the single model, it's perfectly fine because ZBrush gonna change export values to match. There was a 60 units, so 2 multiplied by 30, 60. Problem is when you import additional stuff to the scene and that export settings is not updated. So with that my scene that I created, those exports are always the same scale 1, no offset, nothing, and I set up the size of the model up here. So in that case, it's not supposed to be 60 centimeters in my case, but 300, but it doesn't matter in case of material creation. It's a small thing that maybe somebody pick up thanks to our video. So yeah, let's go back with the scan because we need a optimal position that was created for the scan. So it's gonna be like this, I believe, 2 units, 30, 60. So let's insert it once again, and then I can delete everything else. So did you make any kind of cleanup of the scan? I believe you do, but I prefer to ask up front.
Oh, I was trying to, but then it kept like nuking my UVs. So
Yes. So
no, there's no cleanup. I didn't have a chance to go back to it and try some other methods. So.
in that case, I'm gonna load a Metashape to inspect your model quickly. And I use different photogrammetry softwares for file inspection. And let's see what kind of ABC. And that's the first thing why I request ABC. Take a look how fast it loads, and it's 30 million model, right? You don't want the UDIMs. With the OBJ
Oh wow.
and FBX, that's gonna be a lot of time. Right now it's loaded.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah, it's right now gonna load to the memory, but it's already there. Just like that. That's why I love ABC when I work with the heavy models, because I can load a 100 million polygon instantly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So let's see
That's awesome.
the texture.
I might have to start using ABCs more.
Well, it have its own downsides. For example, you can't load the ABC exporter from the reality capture into the Substance Painter. It's gonna blow up the software immediately, crash.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, so I'm forced to resave ABC file with the Metashape, for example, when I want to work with that file format in different softwares. I don't know what is broken in the reality capture, but I filed a bug report, so hopefully they're gonna fix it and I can cut middleman in that case.
Yeah.
But people said that ABC format it's not the best one because it's created with the mindset of the animation. I have no idea. I just test what kind of file work and how it interacts with the different softwares, and so far OBJ and ABC is the best one for me. When I try to export the FBX or DAE, let me see, it's the correct.
Yeah, the DAE files.
Yeah. It's gonna crash ZBrush when you try to export something above the 40 million, for example. and in the case of FBX that's gonna be 70. So those small things that you learn with the matter of time when you work with the photogrammetry. And actually we're gonna keep it, there it is, that's the wall. So we have a 1.8K, correct? Texture.
I think it might be 8 or 16. I can't quite remember.
I can see it's already 16, that's even better. And actually we can stick with the keep Metashape in the background, but it's a very good tool to make inspection of the scan model, because the UI and everything is way cleaner than reality capture.
Yeah, reality capture, it's like menus inside menus, and then
Well,
you have like your 1DS, your 3DS.
Yeah, it can be annoying, especially when you want to work with the rebaking. Then you need to have a scene to load everything, because when you try to create UVs, for example, with the software, photogrammetry software, you need some kind of dummy dummy project that have at least 3 pictures. That's why, for example, when I try to open the latest, you see Metashape unwrapping. That's the dummy project that I have with 3 pictures, just to have the ability to automatic unwrap the photogrammetry model or any kind of model when I'm lazy. So yeah, we're gonna keep the Metashape in the background, because we're gonna use it to transfer a diffuse map. It's way faster thanks to the ABC file to just import it from the ZBrush after the initial creation. And because the model is perfectly fine in terms of the size, we don't need to decimate it up front in the reality capture. Normally, when I work with the heavy models that have, 100 million polygons, I decimate, I export it as ABC, the raw file, plus I make a decimation to around 5 million to quickly load it to ZBrush and insert a simple plane like this, and we need to scale it up to be visible and rotate it. And we do it because we're gonna transfer all information from the surface over the simple plane. And it's very important to verify if that plane is contain correct UVs. So flatten, solo mode, and yes, from the left to right I see it's perfectly fine. But sometimes happens that there's a margin padding of the UV map, and it can be annoying. So let's place it slightly above the plane. The best approach is to make it horizontal or vertical, well, straight to the model. So let me see where is the best surface for that one. The wall is slightly tilted, so you have 2 options: up front or slightly tilted to have a equal height of the wall. And I believe that's gonna be better approach in that case, because we want to make a seamless material, and we're gonna create a displacement map from it. So let's make a slightly tilt, and because I use Gizmo, I can follow the blue Gizmo line and set it up mostly in the perfect position. So let's see, it's still far away, and that should be good. The next step in terms of creating a material is something that I'm not sure entirely, because you can displace when you create a displacement map, you can create it that in 2 ways. One, when you have negative and positive sides and your plane is in the middle, and you can create a height map that just have information about the one vector, one side. So let's say everything gonna be baked like this. It's something that I'm not entirely sure to this day what is correct approach, because both methods works fine in the softwares that I use. But let's make actually a test and put that plane way back and see how it goes. And now we can just export it, and we're gonna make a folder, okay, 02, no poly, plane. And we go back to Metashape and import that plane. And we don't want to replace a model, like this. And we just click build a texture. Instead of image, we use the source data, our high poly model. We set up the initial scale, and at this point, we stick with the 8K. I believe that the true size, because we have a 160, so when we divide it into the 4 pieces, like this, we see we don't have a full information in all those sides. So I believe the 8K will be sufficient, because in that side from the left to right I can see we have at least 2 planes. Would be a problem when the captured wall is not high enough, and then we cut basically some information, and in that case it's almost in the spot, because on the ground up here we have some missing information, or we cross the ground itself. So we have a true 8K in that case, even when the source data is just 16. So we are lucky in that case. And we just click OK. It's gonna transfer the data, and we keep that plane because we're gonna move to Substance Painter. That is my tool of the choice in terms of making the other maps. Because in my case I transfer just a diffuse map in the Photogrammetry software, and I generate a AEO map, normal map, height map in different software. So after that is baked, I'm gonna re-export as ABC to not blow up a Substance Painter, as I said.
I'm surprised you don't use Substance Designer. I know I've seen some like photogrammetry artists using Designer to do like de-lighting and all this other crazy stuff.
Yeah, but I encourage you to, we're gonna export just a texture. I encourage you to go right now when I export that plane and take a look at what kind of formats Substance Designer support and compare that with the Substance Painter. Actually, I'm gonna open Substance Painter in the background as well, and we can compare. You're gonna see what I mean. Okay, let's export the texture itself. So, fuse. That's the other thing I didn't mention when I make a placement of the plane itself. When I look at the raw scan data at first in the Metashape or reality capture, depends where the source project is, I always try to find a best position to create a future material, because right now when we create a texture, hopefully it's already here, it is, I can see that bottom part, for example, is darker than the top one. So in theory, we have wasted that amount of space, because then we need to, I don't know, remove the gradient or compensate that darker parts somehow. So optimal way is to plan where is the best spot for raw scan data to be baked from. And sadly, when you can load that file super fast into the Metashape, when you try to go back to it, it takes a while. Almost there. So meanwhile, no, I need to export it anyway, so I need to wait. Any kind of questions so far?
Not on the process, but how long have you been doing photogrammetry stuff?
7 years, 8 years, since 2015.
Nice.
That was the first year when I found it, thanks to a guy who make maybe I will be able to find him. It was Roberto or something like that. LVL2. He was responsible for making probably, yeah, that's the Ricardo had a really nice tutorial about the Metashape and how to create a dinosaur model from the toy.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
He not posted as the Ricardo itself, but that was some kind of 3D master or 3D mister. I don't remember. I just remember that I can find him thanks to the Leon model. So that was 2015, and I found it very interesting, and I decided, okay, it's something that I want to stick with. And since then, I was just improving my skills constantly, doing things in my free time, and then I'm trying to make a more something that can be put into my portfolio. And then I applied for government grants, and I was granted to make a recreation of the tombstones. And from there, I decided, okay, that's my specialization. So, yeah, 9 years. Oh my god. Who even thought? But
yeah, for me, like what got me into photogrammetry was seeing the first Hellblade game.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like, oh, I could use my camera to make 3D models? What? So
yeah. When I found a photogrammetry, I thought, oh gosh damn it. It's gonna save me a lot of time learning how to make a hyper-realistic textures and super nice the model quality. I was basically too lazy to learn those stuff, and I wasn't aware that photogrammetry is the whole new rabbit hole in terms of how to learn doing a stuff. But in terms of material creation, it's actually something that I picked up 18 months ago. When I was still working for Historic VR, I had idea, wait a second, we have a really nice wall, 3D scan of the building. Why not to scrap material from it and put it all over the surfaces that are broken or not captured correctly and make a blending, and that's how it started.
oh, nice.
Yeah. Grzegorz Baran is actually, I can show as well on the YouTube. Grzegorz Baran is my personal hero in terms of...
Oh yeah, Gregor's. Yeah.
Yeah.
His stuff is really cool too.
Yeah. I even had...
He was the one that I saw that was using Designer a lot.
yeah, he was, actually, I believe. But he constantly explored different new softwares to replace them, to refine them. First tutorial that I ever saw in his series was probably how to tie a photogrammetry based PBR material, and it was already 5 years ago. Oh my god. So yeah,
he inspired me to get the drone. That's why I have my Mavic 2. See, he has the Mavic 2 Pro. I have the 2S. So it's not as high quality as his, but I still think I get some pretty good stuff out of mine.
Yeah,
as long as the lighting's good.
I have a drone too, but I was not cheap, but X8 drone. Drones were quite expensive in that time. It was a couple years ago, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and that drone cost me 400 euro in that time. And it works fine, but the quality is so bad. And when you try to use a raw picture format, it's completely broken. It's useless.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I managed to capture something with it, but it's not the quality that I can match too well with the photogrammetry from the ground. So it's more like an emergency situation, a solution, and because of that I just use it, I don't know, 20 times overall.
Gotcha.
So I'm not even sure the battery is still working correctly.
Oh no. I just got mine updated. I think I might try to take some snowy pictures with mine.
Yeah. So maybe in the future I'm gonna follow Grzegor's approach with the capturing seamless material with the drone, but I don't expect it gonna be good at all. So yeah.
Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So.
Correct. Exactly. Especially when over the years it become even more affordable for anybody.
Yeah.
So that's a nice thing.
And what sucks is like mine, it's heavy, so I actually had to get registered with the FAA and get like a call sign and take a test and do all this stuff, which drone laws here in the States can be pretty wild, but it sucks because if somebody does something stupid, it kind of ruins it for the rest of us.
Yeah, that's how things work in the real world.
So it's like, God damn it, you guys are just making it harder for everybody else to use the drones.
Yeah, I can hear you. In the Europe, we have in the United States you have a separate states that have their own law. I see that basically one-to-one situation with the Europe when we have a European Union, and each one of the countries that belongs to it have their own laws and everything. So it works pretty similar. And till 2022, I believe, each single country, state, whatever, had their own set of rules about the drones. And it was super annoying, especially for people that make permissions in one country. But then they were forced to make a retest or translation or, I don't know, additional test of skills when they want to operate in the different country. But then European Union decided, hold on, we're gonna make a simplified, unified version of the law that apply to each single country of the European Union. And after many years, at last they push it and publish it. And currently you need a permission, online training at least, for the smallest drones. It's just a presentation, if I remember correctly, that is about what is the safety measures, don't fly above the people, blah blah. Problem is when your drone have a camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or is above the certain amount of I don't know, grams in terms of wave. So yeah, it's not easy up here as well. So I don't even try to fly with my drone in public places because it might give me more problems than it's worth. So
one of the things I found out where I'm at is national parks you're not allowed to fly in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you're not allowed to take off from a national park, but you could fly into a national park. So then you could fly into it, take your pictures, and then fly out, but you cannot land in a national park.
that's
So it's just like, this is so weird.
Yeah, it is. Oh well.
Yeah.
I hear crazy stuff about the US law. So
yeah.
I expect it is possible. Okay, so small update what happens on the screen. In Substance Painter they introduced baking. Thank God they introduced that in the Substance Painter in previous year. And it's basically one-to-one version with the Substance Designer in terms of the options. But you have all those formats that you can import. I was about to say, at resource. No, not resource. Import the model actually. So projects, change the model. So see all that list?
Yeah.
FBX, ABC, OBJ, DA, PLL. Compare that with the newest one, with the Substance Designer. I believe there's missing ABC and those newest.
Probably no GLB and all that either, I assume.
So yeah. If you want to export raw scan data as the FBX, good luck with that. It's super annoying. That's why I really like Substance Painter, because as you can see, that 40 million loaded perfectly fine in the background quite fast. So because our plane is up here behind the high poly, let's turn that off and on. We need to push the baking distance way up in the front to cover everything that is red, because that means there will be no baked data for that spot. And the issue that I see right now is up here, because it's a ground and there will be a missing data anyway, so we don't need to bake that one. So I try to push that baking gauge to the point that is perfectly where I want my data to be recreated. I'm not sure entirely how it's gonna work with the height map when we push everything way up here, for example. Because in theory it's gonna work, because all those rays gonna register information about the surface here, bounce back, etc. But who knows? And this additional thing about the Metashape, because you can bake build texture, you can bake displacement map up here, same as the normal. But Eric, that is my another guru in terms of the photogrammetry, explained me that besides of the two methods how you can bake your displacement map, you have two types of the displacement map, height map. One is when the number operates from the range -1 up to +1. But then you have the true displacement map. I don't I'm not sure I can explain that correctly. That have a from the 0 to the infinity. And it's true height map because it stores every single amount of data that is possible. And it is used in the VFX environment, but it's impossible to work with. You can't edit that kind of map because you're gonna break it. And that's why I stick with the Substance Painter, because it uses the simplified version of the displacement map when it's baked, or height map, depends. Because actually the height map displays surface, so it's height map, not displacement map. Nomenclature in the terms of the 3D is mixed everywhere, because you have diffuse map, color map, those are not the same. Then you have albedo once again. So yeah, okay. So what kind of maps we want to work with? A normal map for sure, but workspace normal is not mandatory. Same with the ID. Curvature, yeah, why not? Position is useless, and thickness, it's not useless. It's not useful as well, because it's not something that gonna contain any kind of subsurface scattering, translucent information. So we don't need that as well. And we can use the height map for sure. And in theory, bent normals as well. Thing that I read about bent normals is they contain more information about the, I don't know, about the surrounding or something like that, how the normal map should bend rays of the light. And that is useful because then bend map provides better shadow reaction in the Unreal Engine, for example. I'm not entirely sure how it works. Everybody are feel free to leave a comment. You're a dummy. It doesn't work like that. But I saw that people prefer and suggest to use bent normals when it's possible. I'm not entirely sure, but we can just leave it for a sec to show that map, how it compares with the normal map. And settings, we work with the 8K, frontal distance, anti-aliasing, no. Okay, I think we can just click bake. And it's gonna be super fast as well, because Substance Painter is awesome software, and everything is loaded already into the RAM. So if you don't have a lot of RAM, good luck to work with the scan data. That is big one. I'm gonna keep everything in the background, but already we can see we have 5 GB of the ZBrush, 7 GB of the Metashape, and 10 GB of the Substance Painter. I have 128, so I just don't think about the RAM anymore. But if somebody don't have that kind of privilege, it could be rough. So yeah, we have our maps baked, and let's go back to painting mode to turn off the height map, and let's see our maps, how they looks currently. It's on the flat plane, and as you can see we have our normal map baked. So let's see, that's ambient, curvature. I'm not entirely sure how to use that map in our current workflow, but it's a good approach to bake it anyway, because maybe a client will be...
I'm back.
I didn't know there's such a thing up here. That's annoying. Additional...
Yeah, I think.
Keep going.
Oh, I'm here.
That's additional thing why to not stick with the zoom in that case. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, so what...
Might have to use like Discord, I think. I know with I pay for Nitro, so I'm able to stream to you at like 1080p or higher at whatever refresh rate you want. So.
Well, in terms of that kind of recording, currently we're gonna upload the video that is recorded on my site, so how good the share screen resolution is, it's just between me and you anyway. Unless you want to show something on the screen, then that might be an issue eventually. But yeah, I prefer that than I'm cut off in the middle of the sentence.
Oh no.
Yeah, as it happened. So I was saying that when you have an option to bake more maps, do it, because then a client have at least an option to do it something with the additional map. It's always better to offer more. Nobody gonna complain about it. So yeah, that's our curvature. No thickness, no position, and there's our height map. And bend normal as well. So let's see. This slightly...
I can't see your screen if you're screen sharing.
Oh yes. Oh gosh damn it. I forgot. Share. Okay, so quick recap. Curvature, height map. As you can see, the ground is super wide up here.
Yeah.
So it push all those values slightly back. That's why I wanted to place a baking plane above the interesting surface and ignore everything else that is not essential. And there's our bend normal. And as we can see, there's slightly less contrast in that map. So definitely those maps are not the same. So it's something that I need to make a research to be able to explain things better. Because my understanding is it's just better map. So just bake it and offer to the client.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so because we have our set of maps, we can just export them. And I have plenty of custom presets in the Substance Painter up here. So we want to export everything as best as possible. So let me see. Substance Painter bake instead of Marmoset. In the past I was using a Marmoset toolbar for a baking, because it was okay with the ability to rebake a UDIM model to another UDIM, when many other softwares just don't know the concept of having more textures, which is ridiculous, and I wish Substance Painter understand that as well, to be able to rebake a color map from the raw scan data. But sadly it's not a thing. Same with the designer, when you can just load a one map. That's why 16K as here is a really good option for raw scan data when the UDIMs are not possible. But I have a Photogrammetry software, then I can just load those UDIMs and rebake from those. Okay, so let's see what kind of maps we're gonna export. So as you can see, I export everything as the 16 bits. It's not mandatory, especially for maps like ambient occlusion, that is just grayscale, and there's no need for that kind of precision. But it's gonna be converted in the software of my choice in terms of the texture creation. Anyway, up to 32 or maybe 64 bits anyway. So those informations are not lost, and the final conversion gonna happen anyway later. And additionally, I have deleting maps set up for Unity deleting tool, and I can show you how it works as well. So we want to export everything as the 8K. Once again, the less map information is lost, then better. And once again, let's go to the speed, workbench, respawn, and textures, and click export. So that's the usual workflow when I work with the textures, back and forth to get my set of the maps. And then we can close everything else like a Metashape, Substance Painter, because we don't need those softwares anymore, unless we want to rebake something once again. But it's gonna save our memory. And now we can go to the Unity and use the deleting tool to try remove the hard shadows from the surface. That tool doesn't work that great, but it provides something useful to at least try to remove the shadows. There are plenty of deleting solutions like Agisoft deleter that works in the way different way. When you load your model, paint the, I don't know, there's any kind of no, there's no demo up here. In that software, you paint places with the brushes in the 3D space, and to say, okay, there's a shadow and there's a light. And Unity, on the other hand, works with the bent normal, ambient occlusion map, and everything to emulate a possible environment and use it to delight it with the method when it's deduction or something like that from the map. So why I don't see other this deleting tool? And of course I forgot.
Have you tried Substance? Was it Sampler?
I don't use it because it's limited to 4K. I think at least it was. I don't have the newest version, but what is the name? Alchemist?
Sampler?
Sampler.
Yeah.
It's not in that, at least in the version 2022, I believe. It was just offering a 4K export, where
gotcha.
with the previous year version, maybe they changed it, but nobody was kind to make a straightforward answer. Even their tutorials avoid to showing the size of the map. So yeah, I don't use it at all, sadly, or not.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So now we have our maps, and we just drag and drop them, and everything should work, at least to the degree. It should populate all those slots, the correct maps. And there's a whole tutorial about that tool. It's free to be downloaded, I believe, unless Unity make a Unity move and remove it completely. I know it's on the GitHub.
Unity doing Unity things.
Yeah, especially recently. You are probably aware they fired almost 2,000 people.
Yeah, which is really sad.
Well, I get their point that they want to make a clean slate, and at least they wait after the new year. I don't know, it's a bonus for people or something like that. But I leave the opinion to people that are inside of the industry currently to make a proper judgment. I just knew that that's another 2,000 people on the market that I need to compete with. So
2,000 people Epic could just buy out.
Well, Epic have their own issues.
Yeah,
so,
true.
okay, let's compute. and turn those maps off once again. And why I don't see what I want to see? That's interesting. That's another thing about the AI that... oh no, that's the old map. That's not the correct one. I need to clean up my Unity project in that case. Right, I know what's happened. When I was exporting, I did not include the color map in the Substance Painter. Yeah, that's rough. So let me think quickly how we can... Because we need to targa file format to make it work. I believe we can make a simple conversion with the Affinity Photo, actually. And that should work, but I knew there might be small issues. So fingers crossed it's gonna work. Let's see, targa, TGA. Yes, please. And that should work. Okay. Let's delete that map and drag and drop it.
Come here, kitty.
Okay, there it is. Nice.
There we go.
So on the left, you have the estimation how the surrounding looks like. So I expect there was a wall or something like that, and there was a clear sky. Mostly. And you can see it removes a lot of shadows and try to keep the color, but we can use the sampler tool and use the color, and it gonna travel across the environment to find a perfect spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
In theory, you can change the size with the green circle, but the tool is so buggy that there's no way to do that, sadly.
Oh no.
But I can see that that's another thing. I make a perfect position when I want to compare. There it is. So as you can see, it do a quite nice job in that case. Because on the bottom, we still have those changes in the colors, but that could be in the same time, maybe the wall was slightly wet or something like that. So it's make a really good job, actually, except the top left corner. I don't know what's happened there, but
Yeah,
we can always mask it. Yeah. So we're gonna export that map as the deleted. My pronunciation is not the best. So yeah, diffuse, deleted. Okay, that is all additional step, because as I said, that tool never works as it should. But when it works, great, we have additional map to work with and less work for us. And after that, I can just delete it. And then there's a last tool in my toolbox, Art Engine.
Oh.
Yes,
Grzegorz. Yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah, Grzegorz used it as well. There's an example video. And it's a really awesome tool. Sadly, a lot of bugs, and it's discontinued. There was a funny thing about the Art Engine, because when it was still in the sale, there was a moment when devs make a very clear suggestion to not purchase it anymore. And it was a couple weeks before the Unity announced, sorry guys, we discontinue it. And I make a gamble, because in that time the software costs $200, but I learned from the reality capture acquisition by Epic that Usually, when you have a valid license, in the moment of the acquisition or discontinuity or anything, there's something happened to keep the current paid users on the go. So, in terms of the writing capture, I lose the chance twice to get the enterprise version of the software for free. One was when there was first initial acquisition, and you had the valid Steam license. That cost 30 euro per month. So I was purchasing each single time when I was doing something for a client. And sadly for me, in that moment, that was a couple days after I just finished with my license.
Oh, no.
And in that time, the software cost 15,000 for the enterprise license. 15,000.
Yeah.
And then they make a second batch of the transition. I don't remember what was the reason, but they cut down the price to, I believe, almost 3,000 euro. So from 15,000 up to down to 3,000, which is mind blowing. And again,
yeah.
I didn't I didn't qualify. So after so many years, I decided I don't want to stick with the PPI version. And I use that software so many times, and I start to earn good money with it. It's time to make a permanent enterprise investment, because why not? I will be not bound by pictures or anything like that. So that was the same story with the Unity. I make a purchase for 200 euro, and to my surprise, you know what, guys? Because you have a valid license, we discontinue it, but you can use it by the next 10 years.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I don't think that it's possible anymore for people to use it, sadly. But I am in the lucky in the luck. So okay, I know that currently people might use the Substance Alchemist, Substance Designer, Painter, or even the Photoshop Affinity Photo and anything to work with those maps to make them seamless. But Unity Art Engine have a very nice feature that analyze your material, pick up the small elements, medium elements, big one, and mash it into the new version of the material. So let me show you that over the diffuse itself. So the node is called mutation, or maybe revision, and it's gonna be super fast. So we can decide what kind of details supposed to be picked up. So I want some mix of the small and sharp details, and I want a lot of changes in the big one. And we just run it, and that's gonna be fast. And let's zoom in for the preview window of the map, and that's the result.
Oh, nice.
So input, output, and I can make a new one as much as I want with the new seed, if I want. So it's very nice tool, especially when you have organic surfaces that doesn't contain any kind of regular patterns. Because you can imagine that it will not work when you have planks that have a same gap everywhere. But for that kind of surfaces, on the ground, on the wall, it's super nice because you can create additional variations, refine them, pick up, okay, I want to focus just on the small parts or on a big one, etc., etc. So I'm super lucky to still be able to use the the art engine. And maybe one day somebody gonna introduce that kind of tool into the designer. I don't know. I don't care. But that's the main reason why I still use the art engine, even when it's super buggy. For example,
Gotcha.
yeah. For example, I figured out that when you set up one of those maps, when you import, you can pick up all that define what kind of map that is. Usually it's pick up the correct one and define it, but nobody says that you can't say, okay, it's not the ambient occlusion map, it's a glossiness map, or I don't know, bump map. There's no true reason difference between them, because right now everything is stored in the same 32 or 64-bit depth, but later it predefined the output it's gonna export as a grayscale, RGB, with the alpha, that kind of stuff. And one of the bugs that I recently figured out is when you make a map as the subsurface scattering, everything gonna went out of the memory. So I don't know why, but after figuring that out, I was super happy, because it was a constant issue when I received, sorry, I can't compute anything because I'm out of the video RAM memory, even when it's used 20%. So yeah. Okay, so now we want to make a seamless material, and even when I have all those maps, I can create a compute compose material, and it's gonna connect everything at once, and you can redefine that ambient occlusion is the just grayscale, that kind of things. We will not do that because it's gonna take a computation time to work over all those maps at once, and I don't need that. I just need to make a correct setup to see how that material gonna looks like after removing all details. But we can still make a view how that looks currently.
Yeah.
So instead of compose the material, I just make a side node and make a what kind of steps we want at first. Gradient removal. We connect that to that node and make a preview. So let's see, that's the input, that's the output. That's my go-to tool when the Unity deleting tool doesn't work that great. In the art engine, you have a nice library of the even scan related templates, when you can remove the hard shadows with the normal map directions, that kind of stuff. But as you can see, those workflows are super complex, and I wish I knew how to do that. We actually can push that just for fun, but when we follow the nodes, we can see that from the single map, in that case that's gonna be one image, the art engine gonna compute a normal map, splice it into the different channels, generate a height map and everything, which is crazy. And let's see what kind of output it's gonna provide in the end. And you can see the how much memory it's used. It's close to 24 gigabytes that I have. So that's very, very computing intensive software. But the results are super nice. And just like that, I can create a seamless materials even from the single picture, which is great. They are not perfect, same as the output from the Substance Alchemist, for example, but still it's super advanced, and it provides at least a starting point to make a further refinement. And of course, I can make changes to those nodes before our computation. So for example, I have roughness, I can set it up as that material is a rock, and it's gonna computate everything with the correct values for the roughness map. Theoretical, of course. And let's see, that's our result. It's not the best, but considering it's just from the single picture, it make a quite nice job, which is amazing.
Looks good to me. Yeah.
We can displace that map slightly more. Tessellation at max. Let's move to the side and hide like this. Amazing job for a single map.
Yeah.
When we have, of course, the true values up here, we have a height map, etc. So yeah, we can leave it later for a comparison point. So first, I remove the shadows with those gradient removing tool or one of those advanced nodes. And then I use the simple seam removal and mask, and I just connect those two and paint over the places that I want to be seamless. We click that button that make the estimation tillable estimation, and as you can see currently it doesn't seam at all. But once when we click a computation for seam removal, it's gonna be super nice probably right away. I don't think there's anything to paint over manually, and should be fine as it is. If not, then we can computate everything. Okay, there it is, no seams, just like that. Amazing. So we know that the current tool setup is perfectly fine to connect every single of those maps and compute the full stack. Unless we want to make some refinement. For example, I don't like that part up here that is super stick out because it's way brighter than other parts. So I go back to my mask. Oh, and I can see it was artificially added. Okay. In that case, we can just go and make another node. And once again, actually there's a seam fill, content aware fill, that works like one from the Substance Painter, from the Photoshop. So in that case, let's paint it over that part up here. And it should work nice and fast to fill that space with the fake information. Of course, in terms when you work with the more complex materials, for example, tree bark, when you have wood and moss, you can you have an option to just leave it as it is, or you can create a material that is just from the moss itself. I made that trick with this seamless material of the tree bark. Let's go to the correct folder. When I had the part, for example up here, I had the wood and the moss part up here, as you can see, and I said to Art Engine, okay, just mask out everything that is not moss and populate it with the fake data, and it create a seamless material from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I can make a same stuff with the wood. I have plenty of moss that I just select. I don't want it, like here, or the wood, and it's gonna populate with the data or synthetic data based on the thing that remain on the picture. So as you can see up here, I make a lot of steps along the way to create that material, and it's awesome because even the unperfect picture is still usable with that software. So mind-blowing, especially compared with the other softwares that doesn't contain those nice tools, and you need to find a workaround. For example, in terms of Photoshop, you just can't select all those maps as the separate layers because that doesn't work. When in the Affinity Photo, for example, it is an option, because when you use the clone stamp tool or content aware fill, it's gonna go and apply the same step across the full stack of the maps. So, but it's not compare anything to the power of the AI in the Art Engine.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can go and add more things, but after that, there's just output. And that's how I create my seamless materials. The whole workflow can be way more complex, and I will be lucky if I manage to reach that kind of stage. But that's my approach with the seamless material. So if you have a questions, now it's the time.
No, that's pretty wild. It seems fairly like straightforward in a way. So it's like, okay, we go from here, we get the bakes, then we go delight the diffuse using the bake information, and then you make it tileable, and then you could choose like which parts you want to mask out using Art Engine, and then bam, done.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then you can make additional versions. Oh yeah, we need to change the input, seam removal, like here and here, and then we can compute those maps. Output supposed to be a material again, and input material as well. So now we just process all of that for material stack in the background, and yeah, that's I can't imagine anything more to say about the workflow in terms of the materials. Of course, everything depends what kind of material you use, because when you have something with the patterns, you have option to define a pattern array in the Art Engine, but that tool is very, I would say, buggy once again, because when I connect, let's say that map once again, it tried to figure it out. Okay, where is the pattern? And yeah, it can get complex and confuse a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was lucky there's no information. Sorry, there's no pattern up here, which is, I don't know how it's possible, but yeah, pattern unwrap. Oh, that's the one. That's gonna say, sorry, there's nothing here to make as the tillable pattern. But it is useful when you have those bricks or anything like that. And there's a whole library of the tutorials on the YouTube. Their Art Engine profile is still contain a lot of videos, how to work with the patterns, how to generate something. So it's still something useful for people who manage to get a license. I'm not sure it's because I know that at least 6 months after the acquisition and plug off the whole project, it was still possible to apply for demo version for free, but from what I am aware, it's not currently available anymore. So you can try to find it if you want, and try to get I don't know, an official license key. You need to send a message or something like that. If you manage to do that, you have a really nice and awesome tool to work with and to learn, for sure. Oh, there was
Awesome. Yeah, I might have to try to see if I can somehow get it.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have at least something. There's a pattern that is at least some kind of replacement, but for now there's nothing on the market. Even AI is not able to make anything useful for now, sadly. So what is interesting about the Art Engine as well is it's not just about the material creation, it's about the computation of the materials from the shadow. It's called Photometric Stereo. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
Okay, so when you have a photogrammetry, everything is about the what is the correct name? Triangulation and position of the pixels from the pictures, like up here, right? Different position of the camera have a different angle of the pixels, and then you computate the 3D shape from the differences between those two and relations. In terms of the photometric stereo, it's a different approach. Your camera is in the single position all the time, same as the material that you scan surface, and you use the light to make a pictures with the shadows going from the different directions. So for example, up here you can you have 4 pictures from the top left side, from the top, from the bottom, left and right. And then software computes a normal information and diffuse information from those pictures and from those differences in the shadows. And it's super nice because let me see, I have that's on the disk drive, workbench, surfaces. I have a lot of projects to work with. It's supposed to be scans up, file and branches. I don't see it right now. Frames, job application. Okay, that's that one could work or not. Anyway, I make a photometric stereo approach about the leaves and small elements like shells, because then I get a estimated normal map that is way more detailed than a photometric one. For example, up here, Grzegorz Baran actually made a video about that somewhere here. Not atlases. I believe it was somewhere here. It was really good and long tutorial. There it is, 1 hour long about the photometric stereo, and it's super nice because it provides way more detailed normal map compared with the photogrammetry, and same with the height map. So Art Engine can do that as well, and Substance Designer too. But in my personal opinion, the quality is better from the Art Engine, because when you use a chroma ball approach, that is modification when you have a chrome ball. Let's see. There's this chrome ball. It just show where is the position of the light. Don't see any kind of more pictures. Let's see. I should prepare those pictures before, but I didn't expect it. I'm gonna go through the material creation so fast. Oh, there it is. So you have the chrome ball in the single position, and each single picture shows the bright spot in different place. So chrome ball approach compared with the photometric stereo, where that node is. Import, computation, procedural, position. God damn it, there's plenty of those. Compose material, multi-angle to texture. That's the simplified version, and you can just define 4 or 8 pictures. When the chrome ball approach allows you to define what is the distance of the camera to the surface, how wide the angle is, and what sample is visible of the taken pictures. So you can imagine that computation is way more complex, and the results are better than typical photometric stereo that provides a really great resolution anyway, if it's captured correctly. So that's the additional thing that I'm doing with the Art Engine. Oh, there's a very nice dataset actually from the Unity. Let's take a look at this. Let's see. Chrome ball, yeah. Different angles, computation, and where's the dataset that was in the thumbnail? There it is. So you can use it in the wildness when you have a torchlight with you. You just place your camera on the tripod, place your black chrome ball, whatever, that just show the direction of the light, and you are good to make a photometric stereo quality surface material even faster, because you don't need 300 pictures of the surface. You just need 8 up to 16. You can go with higher number and use different softwares to compute that kind of map, and then work with the Art Engine to compute another material. The downside of that technique is limited in the terms of size. when you can make a seamless material from the, I don't know, 20-foot long surface. With the Photometric Stereo, you are limited to around half of the foot, something like that. That kind of size. For me, it's 40 centimeters. So different tool for different situation.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I gonna use that technique with the plants because I gonna make a diorama. Let's see on the Gnomon. That's the project that I want to create in the next couple months.
So
Come back.
the next one, you want to do like a plant diorama? Is that what you were saying?
Yes, I'm gonna show the tutorial that I found.
Yeah.
Swamp scene. There it is.
Oh, can't see your screen, by the way. Sorry.
Good point. Thank you for the reminder. Share.
Oh, Gnomon, nice.
Yes.
Speed tree.
So, guy, I will make everything basically. That's a uber large project, and he used Photometric Stereo and Photogrammetry to create foliages of various objects, plants, flowers, tree, Photogrammetry in the reality capture, and everything. So I was thinking, okay, I have knowledge, I have tools. I don't have too much plants because currently up here is winter, so I need to figure out how to find a tree with the leaves. But that's gonna be my magnum opus currently. I think it's gonna take me a month, maybe two, considering amount of work with everything. But it's gonna be a super nice portfolio piece. It's gonna push my ability to work with the Blender, with the Unreal Engine. So everything that I miss currently to get a great job.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully it gonna works well. Today I was outside to harvest some plants, and that's where my fight with the cow happened.
Oh no.
Yeah, so you see, I live next to the really large field. It's I don't know, 6 football fields in terms of the size, and it's the empty fields full of the trees, grass, and that's it. So it's a perfect spot to capture some, harvest some plants, bring back home, and make that project. And I was unlucky. That plant is leased by a farmer to just make his cows go and eat the grass, yeah, that kind of stuff. And most of the time it's fine. Cows are fine because they're gonna approach you and sniff you, and that's it. They are quite easy to scare off. But unlucky for me, today was a big herd, around 20 or 30, and there was one bull that was so cocky that he thought, oh, it's an enemy, I need to get it off from my herd. Even that when that herd approached me, I was just doing my stuff. When one cow noticed me, just start mooing. More cows came out from the bushes, and then there was the whole herd that was approaching me. And I thought, okay, yeah, typical situation, they're gonna sniff me and that's it. They think that I have a food. But no, there was one cow that started pushing me with the head. And you know the size of the cow probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even when I was doing my best effort to not get pushed away into the torn bushes, or from the slope into the very big pile of the water, it was very hard. And sadly for me, that cow was very persistent, and it was keep pushing me away everywhere by the next 30 minutes. And I was so annoyed that I even took my scissors that I was using to cut those plants off from the roots, and I place it in the way that when the cow tried to push me more, it's gonna just slightly puncture its head. But imagine that cow figured out, oh, it's a sharp object that I can scratch my head over. So it keep pushing me even more. I was annoyed because it was started raining very, very hard. And I decide, okay, I start to clap with my hands a lot. And at last that cow was afraid enough to give me a break. I will start chasing it, clapping my hands as hard as possible, and at last I managed to scare it off. It was so goddamn annoying, because the pure fact that cow was pushing me away, and it wasn't that easy, because it scratched my leg a lot. I don't know. I thought, okay, she wants to scratch it. He wants to scratch his head, but no. After so many minutes, I figured out, no, it just wants to push me away, and my leg was sore and very scratched, and I was so annoyed, and yeah. So I was fighting with that cow, pushing ourselves left, right, all over that time. One of those things that happens when you're doing a photogrammetry.
You gotta fight cows.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't a pig. Pigs could be pretty mean.
I never have a chance to even see a pig with my eyes, but I can imagine that a hawk of the size bigger than me can be dangerous, especially they have a sharp teeth, right?
Yeah, and they're opportunists too. So like, if you like see the pig and then you start walking backwards, and if you trip and fall, they'll run at you the moment your ass hits the ground.
Oh,
they can be mean. Most of the times, pigs are pretty good though. I like pigs.
But I can imagine situation when I need to take a shot of something of surface or item when there's a pig walking around.
Yeah.
Unless it's mad.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so before we end, I want to hear your opinion about the Photolab, actually, because as we spoke on the chat before, you have 2 licenses, and it's ridiculous to see that software offering a software in different variations. They are limited, and then you have a sub variation of the same software in the prime and standard version, which is why? Just make one version with the name up here instead divide it into the so many packs. So yeah, you have Pure Raw that is useless for us, and you have Photolab, and you have experience with the Lightroom.
Yeah, I have Photolab 5, so it's a little bit older, like a year or 2 older, but yeah, I really like it. It's basically Lightroom, but I actually own it. And it's pretty easy to make presets. So you'll do all your raw edits on one, copy the presets, and then just apply it to the entire stack or whatever, which is really nice. But because I noticed with like raw therapy and stuff like that, I haven't figured out a way how to do that, but it's not. I mean, raw therapy, I'm sure, is powerful, and I think it's open source and all that. But I want ease of use, and this was really easy to use. I didn't have to retrain my brain going from Lightroom to a whole other application.
Yeah. Well, in my case, I was using where's the workbench? Raw therapy by a long time, and but the pure speed of the Lightroom, it justified the cost, actually, and as you said, there's a set of the settings up here that are way more complex. But from the conversation with the other people, apparently there's an issue when you import a raw picture. You have the stage when the noise of the sensor from the camera is reinterpreted, and it's called the mosaic stage or something like that. And apparently the raw therapy could make it incorrectly, compare with the Lightroom, which is quite important stuff with the photogrammetry, when each single pixel count, and any kind of mismatch between their position, their values, could be devastating. I haven't found the issue personally with the scans that I was doing, but they were quite noisy in terms of the, I don't know, it's ground pictures or the surface of the tree. I believe those kind of stuff matter when you make a photometric, when you have a photogrammetry of the people faces, for scan of the human, because then you use those maps to make additional computation to create a subsurface map, roughness map, glossiness map, everything that is based on the mathematical computation formulas. So in that case, people are not keen to use the raw therapy. But I'm not sure in that case I would want to try Photolab actually, because I knew how to use the Lightroom. I knew it have the really nice tools like what is the name? When you can lift up the highlights or shadows themselves, not just blacks and whites, like up here. So I don't know. There's anything else that you notice that is better compared to the Lightroom, or in your case it's just pure convenience that you don't need to pay a subscription and tools are pretty much the same?
I kind of noticed like it just kind of handles like getting some of the details back a little bit better from at least the version of Lightroom that I was using. It seems like the DxO like still retains some details in areas that might be like clipped out if your camera settings weren't correct. Like it's easier to bring back some of those blacks or the highlights, or bring the highlights down to reveal some of the detail in the surface compared to Lightroom. But other than that, I think it's more I own my software.
Okay. And you
Yeah,
are
I
able.
don't think there's really if you have Lightroom, stick with Lightroom. But if you don't have something like Lightroom and you want to own your software like I do, then I think DxO is probably the best option.
I see. And you said that you try to use the raw therapy and Darktable. Why not to try them once again before make an investment of 140 euro, 230 as the current prices of the Photolab?
I didn't try them again because it was hard for me to make the presets and do all the stuff that I needed to do quickly. And I'm sure if I would have stuck with them, I would have figured it out a lot faster. But at that point, it was just more of a convenience thing.
And remind me.
And I don't have the elite version. I just bought the essential version because I think the elite version of DxO comes with like some AI up-resing and stuff like that. And it's like, nah, I don't need all that. I just want a no frills, easy to use raw editor that I can make presets and apply those presets to all the images in the data set instead of doing it one at a time. But I'm sure Darktable and raw therapy can do all that. I just don't know. I didn't know how to do it at that time. So
you just want to plug and play in that case.
exactly. It's like I'd rather something work just right out of the box. That's why for a while I didn't like Blender and I still was a Maya fan. And then I gave Maya or like Blender more of a chance. And then I started finding myself using Blender more and more, and I was having more fun modeling stuff in Blender compared to Maya. And now it's basically my main tool set, even though it took a while for me to merge my brain traces from Maya over to a new application.
And you make a decision to swap those softwares because of the prices of the license?
Yeah, like Maya is really expensive, and then I found because I do a lot of like medical stuff, and at work, when we were trying to visualize these connectomes in the brain, is all these curves, and our version of Maya, whenever I'd bring these curves into Maya, it would just crash.
Oh,
And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring these curves into Blender and I'm gonna see if this will even work. Like I had no idea if it would work, and then it just loaded up instantly. So
that,
it's like, God damn it, like this application that we pay a lot of money for our licenses, like has hard times doing CAD files and like SVG stuff, which is what it was kind of designed like AutoCAD has their like or Autodesk has their foundations in CAD, and it's brought into Maya and Max and all that, and it struggles with it. But yet Blender, this free software that is kind of esoteric in a few ways, just loads it up just fine. So it's just a lot of like weird growing pains from the stuff that we were doing from like voxelizing meshes from CT data and stuff like that, which is essentially photogrammetry.
mm,
And then like taking all this CT data and trying to bring it into Maya, and there were these massive files, and it would just struggle with it. But Blender didn't have much of an issue with it. So, and then it just became kind of like a workflow thing. So then we'll do like, I'll do my cleanup and resculpting and stuff in ZBrush, go to Blender, fix it up, and then for the main output before we go into Unity, we'll use our tools and just send it to Unity from Maya.
I see. So,
Yeah, it's just weird workflow stuff.
mm, but once you figure everything out, it's better smooth, I expect.
Oh yeah.
And what about the
For the most
plugins? Are
part.
you using a lot of those or not really?
At work, do I use a lot of tools? Uh
Plugins, not tools.
oh, plugins for
Yeah.
Blender? Yeah, I bought a lot of plugins.
Okay,
A lot of like Boolean stuff.
I need to ask because I noticed in the past. I remember Blender to stick with the version 2.7 by years, I believe. Uh,
Hmm.
2 or 3 years. It was just one version of the Blender and that's it. But then they receive a funding and everything kicks out and speed up significantly, and then you have a version 2.8, 2.9 beta of the 3. Currently we have a beta 4 if I am aware.
Yeah,
So
I'm on 4.01, and now they're already working on 4.1.
yeah, I
So
need to ask because you use Blender way more than me. I noticed that each single major version of the software usually breaks a lot of stuff, including the plugins. So you need to wait till the creator make an update, if create an update, because maybe that plugin is not supported anymore. Then you have a broken features or not supported correctly. And I noticed that I'm fine when Blender received the update. It's great. But
mhm.
you have a new versions of the software basically each
All
single
the
year.
Yeah, I haven't. I've actually the only time I ran into an issue with like a plugin for a new version was like a very specialized like rigging solution.
Mm.
But other than that, like I've been using plugins like this plugin called Set Flow, which I can show you if you want.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, let me share my screen. And this plugin was made for like 2.7 or something like that, and it still works in 4 just fine. And what's really nice about like Set Flow is, let's say I have a 6-sided cylinder here, and then I want to add in like these edges, but instead of like trying to grab all the edges and making sure that everything is evenly spaced, because it's like, oh well, this cylinder is like a pipe or something, and then you try to scale it out, and then you have all this weird stuff, and sometimes it'll do something like that and you don't want it to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have set flow, what it's going to do is it's going to look at the edges before and after it and then like interpolate in between. So now I have a rounder cylinder just by right clicking, set flow, and now I'm done. So it's like little things like that
Mm-hmm.
are really helpful. And like I said, it's an old as dirt plugin, but yet it still works just fine in 4.0, whichever version I'm using. 4.02. So.
Mm-hmm. I prefer to stick with the 3.6. That was the last stable, the major stable.
Mm-hmm.
And unless there will be anything groundbreaking, I believe version 4 gonna introduce a new cycle.
Yeah, cycle or EV Next, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Except that I don't think there's anything that catch my attention actually. Not that I follow the Blender development that strong because I am ZBrush user, but as I said with that tutorial from the Gnomon, I'm gonna be forced to work with Blender because a lot of workflow that guy create is based on the Blender. So
yeah, I mean, I really like Blender for my hard surface stuff, but if I get data from like CT scans or MRI scans, then I use ZBrush for that.
I was working once with that kind of data, and I was amazed that I can create a 3D model based on the slices of anything, and that was so different and yet so similar to photogrammetry, but it make a backflip on the things that I was thinking about the data and acquisition. Yeah, example, it's a scalp, I believe.
Oh, God. My window is closed. Hold on, I think I crashed Blender.
Oh no.
I'll do it again. It's all good.
Oh, so you received you had a crash of the window from Blender?
Yeah, the window. Sometimes Blender doesn't speak well with Zoom, like their screen share.
I share screen itself, not the application. So maybe that's the reason in your case, because you crashed the Blender, right? And
yeah,
then...
it's all good. So this is my actual skull that I segmented out using 3D slicer using my DICOM data.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially photogrammetry of bones. So.
Mm-hmm. That's
because it's all just these like individual planes. So it was like, what was it? I think it was about 300 slices in 2 directions. So like you have one set of DICOM data that goes this way, and then you have another one that goes up this way.
Mm-hmm. I was using free software to compute that kind of data from the pictures. And yeah, could you show me the quality, because I can see a surface noise, but in terms of the density of the mesh?
Yeah, it's not too bad. So, let me...
Considering it's inside of you all the time.
It's me!
That's amazing.
I'm wrong. There we go. Let's delete these faces. And sometimes you'll get stuff where like parts aren't like welded together and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah, this is the inside. So you can see here, if I cut the cap off, you can see how thick my bones are, so how thick my skull is.
Yeah.
Because in here it'd all be like porous material and stuff, bone. And then this is where your brain and your eyes and all that sit.
I can imagine you are used to that kind of stuff, but for me, thinking about I could work with my own school, especially that I have a biology background in the anthropology specialization. I was working with that kind of stuff, but it was always somebody that is dead. And
Yeah.
here you're looking at your own skull and you can say, I'm not sure about that part. Maybe I should check myself.
Exactly.
That's slightly scary, I must say.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, like seeing my own skull for the first time, and now it's like, okay, maybe I could do like molds, and I could do like I'm gonna start using it in projects. So
Yeah, you have full copyright for about that skull.
and like it's my scan data though only went just to the maxilla, so I would have to do. You can see like where my teeth would be, but yeah, I just did like a separation, so you can see it has a lot of parts that aren't like welded together, and a lot of it's probably the ethmoid, which would be like the inside here. So there's probably a lot of stuff in there that's not very clean. Yeah, 400 and some odd pieces.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the reason why it's slightly lag, I would say.
Yeah, pretty. It can be pretty laggy, but.
But how dense is that mesh? It's 1 million or something like that?
Shit, that's one thing I haven't quite figured out. Usually there's like an indicator on the bottom for how dense a mesh is, but I don't see it.
If you have a MeshLab, you can use MeshLab.
I don't have MeshLab installed.
That's a shame.
And statistics. There we go. So about 2 million triangles.
Yeah,
I mean, then plus I deleted half the cap, but
not
so we'll say about 3 million.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be that laggy, especially with the new versions of Blender, which is great.
Is it laggy?
Well, from my perspective, maybe it's screen sharing issues.
But oh yeah, for me it's like buttery smooth.
That's great. Because for me it's like I don't know, 1 or 3 frames per second.
Oh no, it might just be my connection or something. Yeah, sorry.
No, don't you worry. I was just surprised, but okay, now it's clear. Yeah, I wish. Well, I knew that Houdini have a lot of push in terms of the all type of workflows. You can currently create foliages with the Houdini, and there was a project Pegasus that the senior that was above me in the historic VR was part of that project actually.
Oh, neat.
And he was responsible for creation of the tree tool. They have some issues with that, but teamwork, and they figured out the solution. So currently there's a lot of push in terms of the Houdini and using with the environment stuff. And I noticed that there was a set of the nodes, or I don't know how to call it, all those stuff in the Houdini, because I used that software once or twice and I was immediately no. And
are you screen sharing, or I don't see a...
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I need to remember that. Where's the button? Next time we can do it with the Discord for sure. Share my screen. Yes, please. Jesus, you need to remind me that kind of stuff. So once again, the movie. And yeah, I saw a couple of the workshops, presentations during the Houdini days that try to use the features, the nodes, in terms of the photogrammetry. For example, pick up the particular parts of the model that have a low big size of the polygons, and cut them out, fill the gaps with the sample that is I don't know, X amount of the distance from the sample that is not higher. For example, there's a wall or something like that. They make a whole set of really nice tools that I wish I was able to use, but it's Houdini, so I can't.
Yeah.
And
Houdini is crazy.
It is, but that's the thing with the Blender, because they make a copy paste basically of the system as far as I know, but I never dig into the Blender too much, so I'm aware of those node system for geometry, and that's a very promising thing for me as somebody who gonna use Blender more. Those node systems offers me, or at least promise, a lot of automatic stuff that I can incorporate with the photogrammetry to clean up the scan, make a simplified version, because currently I can use ZBrush, but I stick with the last official version by Pixelogic. And from now on I'm just sticking with
here.
Yeah, so there's no chance for me to have a fancy node tools in the future, which is a shame. So I need to work with the tools that I had currently in the ZBrush. I can do a lot because I use that software, I don't know, 10 years at this point. So I knew it really, really well. But compared with the Blender and those nodes, it's gonna be amazing to see. Especially that I saw recently, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to find it on the level 80. But somebody make a tool that create the whole building just by curvatures, and it introduced the doors, the windows, the walls, the textures, everything. So I never used the website, so let's see. Yeah, free to try to find it in the background as well.
Yeah, I think I might.
Let me see. I'm not sure how to even find it. Blender Note. But yeah, even pure search Blender Notes, and there's a whole set of articles about everything. How to make an explosion, a mushroom tool. That might be interesting. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, and there's like all kinds of cool like scattering tools for.
Yeah, and even here, just drag and paint with the pencil. That's amazing, right? Because you predefine the size of the cap, range of the shape and stem, but I believe it will be possible to instead of generate the fake leg of the mushroom, you can make load the photogrammetry model of it, right? That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I don't see a way to find that article, recent one. So yeah, let's give it up at it. Unless there will be a Blender and building. All right, and you have same thing with the Unreal Engine currently, right? Oh yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be. Maybe not Blender in my case, but maybe Unreal
that's
Engine
the one I just found, the auto building. I'm on the Blender market. So you can have like a bunch of modular pieces and it'll like stitch it together.
Yeah, for example, that one.
That's really cool.
Yeah, especially when you can use the raw data instead of creating a single... I have no idea how those things work. I saw a couple of tutorials about the creating node tool, but that's a new level. I can't imagine how complex those two must be. I'm so happy that Blender and actually Unreal Engine make those two available for those who are not using the Houdini. Even when Houdini have the free version, it's called the not Enterprise, but what is the name?
The PLE, the Personal Learning Edition?
No, I mean the free. It have a specific name. Apprentice. Yes, that's
Apprentice.
The one. Yeah. But when I saw the prices of the full license, in case I want to use it for the project, to be honest, let's see, get by Houdini, free version, indie version. Yeah, it's almost $300 for a year.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm ready to pay I don't know, up to $200 per year for a tool that I constantly use in my workflow. When in that case, that's gonna be an investment of a lot of time. When I have that tool sort of on my computer in the form of Blender or Unreal Engine. So
Yeah.
I'm super happy that people basically copy a really nice idea of the node system for their geometry. And actually, are you using a Substance Designer or not?
I have Designer. I'm not very good at it. That's one of the things I'm trying to learn, but I mainly use Painter.
Yeah, I knew that they introduced a generated geometry nodes for version 2023, but I saw mentions that
They got rid of it.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
surprised because it was something that when I saw the demo at first, it was okay. We can play with the with the stuff that are out of the nothing. Instead of sculpting everything, I can make it a stem and then rotate it, duplicate it, and create a plant. And they just remove it. Why? I ask why. You have that tool in your software already. Okay, it can be rough, it can be buggy. Art Engine works fine, right? And if you don't want to introduce new changes to that, okay, that's your choice. Some people gonna complain, but everybody complain about everything. And
Yeah.
with the matter of time, you can introduce more changes slowly, and yeah, but they back up with that. And I was surprised. I thought it's a rumor, but amazing. Okay.
I found a plugin. I just sent you a link to it called Ultramesh, and it allows you. You know how like Houdini, you could go from Houdini into Unreal, and then you could still mess with all the procedural stuff in Unreal because of Houdini. It allows you to do basically the same thing, but with Blender's geometry nodes.
Yeah, they received the Epic Mega Grant I see on their website.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in case we're gonna be disconnected once again the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good moment to just
Yeah.
stop the recording. It was super nice to have a conversation about the stuff that I was doing and hear your point of view and have a conversation about the stuff that you are doing. That school was amazing to see.
Oh, thanks, man.
To see and hear that it's your skull. It's not just a random piece of the bone of somebody.
Yeah,
Is that your head?
I wanted to try to get like my MRI data so I could actually have my brain
Oh my
and then do
gosh.
like chocolate molds with it, but I
Oh
wasn't
my
able to.
god. Oh no.
Or like do like a silicone mold and like use it as like an ice tray.
Oh, stress ball. Oh my god. Okay. No, okay, let's wrap it up. Thank you.
It was
Thank
nice
you.
talking with you, man.
Yeah, thank you for
And thanks for
being
showing
here.
me how to do the tiling stuff. I want to try to figure that out.
Yeah, next time you can just do your stuff on your screen and I'm gonna guide you.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, hopefully people who was showing that 2 hours already video on the YouTube had a nice background conversation. And hopefully there will be enough tension that we're gonna record next one. And then maybe introduce more people and have a conversation in the group of 3-4 people. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed.